What a day to be alive. Oh, look, a real, genuine smile from a guy who isn't being forced to wave at a crowd from a balcony. Meghan just dropped this Father's Day photo of Harry hugging Archie and Lilibet, and honestly, it's pure joy. No stiff poses, no weird royal protocol, just a dad getting absolutely smothered by his kids and loving every second of it. You know that UK tabloids are absolutely losing their minds right now. They're probably running the image through a microscope, trying to find something to get mad about. Is Harry hugging them too close? What does the angle of his left shoulder say about the monarchy? It's hilarious. They want this man to be miserable so bad, but instead he's out here thriving in California, living his best life as a regular dad. For regular people, this photo hits different because it shows what actually matters. At the end of the day, Harry walked away from all the royal riches and the endless drama just to protect his peace and be there for his kids. That's a real father right there. He chose diaper duty and backyard playtime over stuffy titles and press attacks, and you can see it paid off right on his face. While the British media stays mad, Harry's just out here being a present, happy dad. You love to see it. You know what I loved about this Father's Day post? It wasn't trying too hard. No giant production, no dramatic speech, no orchestra playing in the background, just a wife showing love to her husband and a family celebrating their dad. That's it. And honestly, that's why people connected with it. Because after years of endless headlines, royal drama, expert opinions, anonymous sources, and people arguing on the internet like they're getting paid by the comment, here comes Meghan with the simplest message imaginable. Hey, you're a great dad. We love you. Boom. That's the whole story. And somehow that hit harder than half the royal PR campaigns we've seen over the years. Because regular people understand that. Most of us don't remember expensive gifts. We remember appreciation. We remember hearing someone say, "I see what you do, and it matters." That's what made Meghan's message land. She wasn't talking about Prince Harry, the public figure. She wasn't talking about Harry, the headline. She wasn't talking about Harry, the spare, the royal, or the guy constantly being discussed on television. She was talking about Harry, the dad, the guy making breakfast, the guy helping with homework, the guy stepping on Lego pieces at 2 a.m. and trying not to scream. That's the Harry his kids know. And let's be honest, parents everywhere were probably looking at those photos thinking the exact same thing. Yep, that's parent life. Because no matter how famous you are, children do not care about titles. Kids don't care about your resume. Kids don't care how many newspaper articles were written about you this week. They care whether you're there. They care whether you show up. They care whether you listen. And from everything Meghan shared, that's the picture people saw. A father being present, a father being loved, a father being appreciated. Simple, powerful, done. You know why Meghan's Father's Day message hit so many people right in the feels? Because it sounded like something a real person would actually say. Not a press release, not a corporate statement, not one of those messages that takes 12 people, 3 advisors, and a focus group to write. Just a wife saying, "We're lucky to have you." That's it. Simple, clean, powerful. And honestly, sometimes the shortest messages carry the most weight. Because let's be real, most dads aren't out here looking for trophies or standing ovations. Half of them would be happy with a nap, a decent meal, and 5 minutes where nobody asks them to fix the Wi-Fi. That's the truth. What most parents want is to know their effort matters, to know somebody notices, to hear, "Hey, thanks for showing up." And that's exactly what Meghan's message felt like. It wasn't about Harry's title. It wasn't about royal drama. It wasn't about the endless headlines that seemed to follow this family around like a lost puppy. It was about Harry, the dad, the guy reading bedtime stories, the guy making goofy jokes that probably aren't funny but somehow make the kids laugh. That's the version of Harry that his kids know. And let's be honest, kids are the toughest critics on earth. You can be famous worldwide, but if you promise ice cream and forget, your approval rating drops immediately. No appeals process, no second chances, straight to the naughty list. That's why these family moments connect with people, because children don't care about status. They don't care about public opinion. They don't care about social media. They care who shows up. Who listens, who hugs them when they're upset, who cheers when they do something silly and call it a masterpiece. That's what they remember. And that's what Meghan seemed to be celebrating. Not some public figure, not some headline. A husband, a father, a person who means something to the people closest to him. And in a world where everything gets analyzed, debated, and turned into a breaking news event, there was something refreshing about seeing a post that basically said, "He's a great dad and we love him." No drama, no hidden message, no secret code for internet detectives to spend 6 weeks decoding. Just appreciation. The kind that most people understand immediately. Because at the end of the day, long after the headlines disappear, that's what families remember. Not the noise, not the commentary. The people who were there. And judging by Meghan's message, that's exactly the picture she wanted everyone to see. A dad being loved by his family. Honestly, that's the best Father's Day gift there is. Can we talk about the funniest thing that came out of Meghan's Father's Day post? Not the caption, not the photo, the internet turning into a team of detectives over a kid's shirt. Seriously, one minute people were celebrating Father's Day, the next minute folks had their magnifying glasses out like they were investigating a national mystery. Enhance the image. It's an England football shirt. We have a development. Everybody relax. Archie isn't negotiating international treaties, he's wearing a shirt. But honestly, that's what made the moment kinda sweet. Because beneath all the headlines and all the noise, it was a reminder that this family still has ordinary family moments, and regular people noticed that immediately. A kid wearing a shirt connected to his dad's roots. That's normal. That's what families do. Parents pass things down all the time. Maybe it's a football team, maybe it's a favorite food, maybe it's a terrible taste in music that somehow becomes a family tradition. That's life. And that's why this little detail resonated with so many people. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't some giant announcement. It was just a small glimpse into everyday family life, the kind of stuff that happens in millions of homes around the world. Because despite all the titles, all the attention, and all the endless commentary, Harry and Meghan are still raising children. And children are wonderfully normal. They wear shirts they like, they run around, they get grass stains on clothes 5 minutes after getting dressed. They're not thinking about headlines. They're thinking about snacks. That's why these moments land differently. They remind people that behind all the public discussion is an actual family creating memories together. A dad being celebrated on Father's Day, a son wearing a shirt that connects him to part of his heritage, a family spending time together. No drama required. And honestly, that's what made the whole thing so refreshing. Because sometimes the most interesting part of a photo isn't the big thing everyone expects you to notice, it's the tiny detail hiding in the corner. The little clue that says, yep, we're just a family doing family stuff. And for all the analysis people love to do, that might be the simplest and most relatable message of all. You know what really stood out to me about Meghan's Father's Day message? It wasn't about the big stuff. It wasn't about titles. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about what people see on television. It was about the stuff nobody sees. And honestly, that's the hardest part of being a parent. Because parenting is basically a full-time job where your boss is 3 feet tall, changes the rules every 5 minutes, and occasionally cries because you cut a sandwich the wrong way. Parents know exactly what I'm talking about. The real work happens behind closed doors. It's the bedtime stories you've read so many times you can recite them in your sleep. It's answering the same question 17 times in a row. It's the hugs after a bad dream. It's pretending to be interested in a drawing that looks suspiciously like a potato but is apparently a family portrait. That's parent life. Nobody gives you a trophy for it. Nobody throws a parade because you survived a toddler meltdown in the grocery store. You just keep showing up, day after day. And that's why Meghan's message felt so genuine. She wasn't celebrating Harry because he's famous. She wasn't talking about public appearances or newspaper headlines. She was talking about the version of Harry that Archie and Lilibet know. The dad, the guy who shows up, the guy who listens, the guy who's there for the little moments that never end up on social media. And let's be honest, those little moments are everything. Years from now, children won't remember what headline was trending. They won't remember internet arguments. They'll remember who sat beside them when they were scared, who made them laugh, who taught them how to ride a bike, who cheered the loudest when they did something they were proud of. That's the stuff that sticks. That's the real legacy. Thank you all for watching. I am your host, Miles. Love you all. Goodbye.